How we doing, everybody? ChevyOS here. It's just about 10 o'clock in the morning on August 25th, 2026. Don't ask me why the fuck I'm up this early making this video, but here we are. We're doing a video today that's kind of overdue. It has been over a year since I have done one, but this is going to be my updated Weather Radio collection video. There's not really much difference between last year's collection video and this year's. Mainly in that I also have not really collected that much, but the stuff I have collected is worth discussing. And this is also different because we all know my setup drastically changed. Whereas there's more radios up there now, the entire bureau has been cleared off, making room for the whole length. And there is also more radios on the wall here. So, I mean, what else do you really need to know about Weather Radio collection videos? Why don't we just go ahead and get started? Over here is what has not really changed at all. It's the same kind of stuff, but I'll still quickly go over them. Right here we have my Midland WR30.
Mostly cloudy. A chance of showers.
This is WR30 because you have to hold down program to get to the menu for one thing. So pioneered the Recom siren we all know and love. Pretty good radio. The WR30 tuners don't die compared to the 74210. They're also slightly more rare, but not by much nowadays, at least. Weather Radio Guru patched up the speaker for me because it originally came with defective speakers, so special thanks to him. You'll hear his name a lot in this video. I'll put his channel in the description for all your Weather Radio repair needs. I purchased this right about at the end of 2022. It's been working great since the speaker's been fixed. I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for just kind of a basic yet semi-vintage Midland radio. They're not bad. I wouldn't recommend the 74210 though, so make sure you get a WR30. And over here we have my Midland ER50. You all know the story about this one.
Round of scattered showers and a few thunderstorms will be...
Purchased this in August 2022 during a severe weather event, and then go figure, once I bought it, the severe weather alerts were done for the day, so I kind of purchased this for no reason. I'm not a fan of the ER radios, mainly just because I think 1050 Hz radios in the age of same is redundant, but what are you going to do? I do actually want to get my hands on the ER310 or the ER310 Pro, mainly just because those are very good quality radios and I have good reception, but I could care less. I'd stay away from the ER50s and 40s, low-key. And then over here we have my version 1 2017 modded Nintendo Switch and my Wii U. And then downstairs I have my PS5, PSVR 2, Wii, Switch 2, and Xbox Series S. I'll make a video on all my gaming stuff if y'all would like me to. So let me know if you're all interested in that. Just move that over here real fast. Alright. I'll actually start up on the wall, go down the wall, and then we'll come down the bureau here. So, these two aren't powered on. A lot of these actually aren't powered on, even though they should be, but I just don't have space for cords. So this continues to remain powered off. This is my First Door WX150. It's nothing special. It's just a regular side-mounted, regular pitched version of the 150. These are very good radios, though. They're quite durable. They're nice and quiet, and I kind of like my radios being quiet because I'm weird. You know, there's nothing really to write home about it. It's got a decent speaker also. Go ahead and get yourself one of these if you can. I just have horrible luck. The first time I bought one of these off of eBay, the radio came completely bricked. It would just turn on and the screen would stay orange and nothing else, no matter what it did. Radio was completely bricked. So with eBay money back guarantee, I returned that, got my money back, and then bought this new in box for even cheaper. So, pretty good deal. So that's that one. This is also back in 2022 or 2023 I bought it, I believe. So, yeah. Next up, Eton Zone Guard, which has joined the radios in being that are unplugged but are on display. Originally purchased my first Zone Guard back in 2017 or 2018, I believe. However, this is not my first original Zone Guard. That one, the buttons, none of the buttons worked, which is a notorious issue with Zone Guards, but they all stopped working, so I couldn't even, like, power the radio on or whatever. So, had to get a new one, and this one's been working great ever since. It's a very basic radio. It's the one that's most iconic from the brand Eton. Quite loud, but still kind of a fun, neat little thing to have. It's kind of thin too, actually, which I also like. It's got a very sleek, compact design to it, and we all know about the beacon. This is the older version that does not have the new green watch light and yellow advisory light or the telescopic antenna. This is the older version. So, that's that. Next up we have my 2012 Radio Shack 12-521.
Providence, Rhode Island, mostly sunny, 69.
I say 2012 specifically because these are the batches of 12-521s where the tuners do not die, so I'm very happy about that. A quick alert test. Nothing really to write home about this. I purchased this in 2023, mainly only because a very, very, very long time ago, I did own a 12-262, but that never worked out for me. Always had issues. Never activated. Tuner always died on its own and then came back. So I wanted to fulfill that gap by just getting a Radio Shack radio along those lines that I know would not die. And this has so far been working great ever since. One thing I did notice a couple days ago is that the diode, where the H's and channel, kind of like died out on me. So I unplugged it and replugged it back in, which fixed it. But I'm also going to keep the backlight on just regular and not continuous now, just in case. Because I had a feeling that could have been causing it, but I don't know. Hasn't done it since, so. Yeah, nothing really to write home about. It's just a very neat Radio Shack radio. If you're going to get a 521, make sure it's from the 2012 batches. Because these ones, tuners do not die in these batches for God knows whatever reason. You're gonna hear that a lot with Radio Shack radios and like which versions like do or don't die. It's fucking weird, but there you go. Next up on the wall right here, Radio Shack 12-991, the white logo.
Cloudy with a chance of showers. Lows in the lower 60s.
Purchased this for $15 off of Facebook Marketplace, so it was just a deal I could not pass up, especially for a radio like this. Nothing to write home about. It's basically just a desktop version of this thing. We all know how the 99X series of Radio Shacks work. This is the white logo version. I know there is a slightly rarer version that has the red Radio Shack logo, but that's literally the only change. So therefore I couldn't give two shits that I don't have a red logo. But if you can find yourself a 991, because they do pop up actually more common than you'd think, go ahead and get it. These are very, very durable, very reliable radios. The reception is also fantastic. Highly recommend. I got this at around the start of 2023. February 2023, I believe. So it's a good radio there. Next up, we have a radio that I think shocked not only myself, but kind of the entire, all the collectors, really. Because no one was expecting the radio to actually be this good. This is the Running Snail MD329 that just released at the beginning of this year, and I purchased it right as it came out.
Waves less than 1 foot. Sunny. Highs in the upper.
So for starters, that speaker quality is just fantastic. It has a very, very long antenna, so the reception is also immaculate. You may recognize that company name, and you may recognize that model number, because Running Snail was the first to have created that thing over there. And we also may know that Running Snail's versions of those radios were absolute train wrecks. So this is their predecessor, their kind of comeback. And it is... Running Snail just took a hard step in the right direction. The main thing I like about this radio is not only the speaker and the antenna. This little dial here is kind of cool. I wish it was for volume and not just like scrolling through like the menu or whatever, but... it's really cool, and this radio is also very, very user-friendly. I could see the general public picking this up instead of like a 120, mainly because all the main important functions of a weather radio are hotkeyed as buttons to the radio. So without even having to go to the menu, you can change your county code, your channel, your alert mode. You can even perform a siren test if you wanted to. Oh, well, go figure. It's kind of weird siren too, but this is an absolutely fantastic radio. It's nothing to really write home about. There's no really outstanding features at all. It's mainly kind of just a basic SAME radio.
7.
But I think an actual good quality SAME radio releasing during the 2020s is just shocking. Was shocking to us all. So I would 100% recommend picking up this radio. And this is the radio I'd recommend picking up for the general public if you're not a collector and you don't want to get like a WR120 or something like that. This is a fantastic radio that I highly recommend. So yeah, just kind of sits on the wall right here too. And I like how the plug comes out of the side like that too, so that's just kind of a bonus. It also has a kickstand on the back. Alright, we're back after that, because there's always interruption of some sort, but whatever. So that was that. Now we just gotta do left to right down here. So right on the end of my beer here, we have my Emerson Research CKW2000. This is a very rare radio that hardly ever comes around. Literally since I got mine here in 2023, there have only been like 3 or 4 others that have surfaced on eBay. It's currently unplugged, but what are you gonna do? Let's see if I can, oh my god, what the fuck is my hair right now? I did wake up. I haven't showered yet, at least, but god damn, ew. It's kind of hard to see there, but this radio actually does have a statement light. It's a yellow statement light. One of the only radios I think that has that. And even though it kind of looks intimidating to operate, the menu is literally the exact same as a WR300, which is kind of nice. It has a really cool siren to it. It kind of sounds like a telephone. And it has AM FM, so, yeah. Nothing really to write home about these other than just good fucking luck finding one, because like I said, they're extremely rare. But if you can find one, go ahead and grab it. I absolutely love these things, even though I don't power it on as much as I should. So, that's that one. Next up, we have a radio I just purchased this past May. This is my Eton FR600.
It was 67, and in New York City it was mostly sunny and 70 degrees. And now here are the forecast key messages for New Hampshire and western Maine. 1. A slow-moving upper trough will bring unsettled weather until...
Okay, well, I just learned that. I didn't realize it shows you expired messages on this thing. That's pretty cool. That's last week's weekly test. Yeah, as I said, purchased this just this past May, I believe. It's not the, like, kind of rarer RDS version, or any of the alternate colors of this radio, but, you know, it's still something. An FR600 is an FR600. It's basically just a beefed up, more durable FR370, which I do have one over there, which we'll eventually get to. My only problem with this is that the FR600s are known and, yep, just known for having, like, sticky residue, like the paint on the side of the radio, unless you put, like, rubbing alcohol or Glue Gun on it, which I did rubbing alcohol. If for whatever reason, like, the outer paint is sticky. It's really fucking weird and gross, but it's whatever. And then I also like how this is your volume down here, and that's, like, your flashlight, SOS siren, shit like that. So, this is a very neat radio. Oh, and my one other gripe, too, also, is the fact that the antenna is rather short and not telescopic, but whatever. What are you gonna do? So this is a very cool radio. It's currently being powered by a mini USB, so I'll definitely take that. So, there you go. Next up we have my iLove IMM183. This is the bright screen version. I know there's a version that has kind of the slightly darker screen, but I have the brighter screen version. What are you gonna do? Come on, why does this camera just not focus, man? Purchased this on the Barnes & Noble website, new in box for $120 as a graduation gift to myself in June 2024. And this radio has been working great since then. It's by far my biggest radio. Please focus. One of these days this camera will actually like me. And I'll like it. There we go. It's by far my beefiest radio. It's the biggest I own. The speaker quality is immaculate. Dare I say the best out of any of our radios. And the main gimmick up here during its time on the market was that you could connect your old iPod or like iPhone 3 or 4 to the top right here to both charge and play your music. Of course, that's kind of outdated today, but if you still wanted to somehow use this through these speakers, I'm sure 30-pin insert to lightning cables exist, and you can probably still find a way around it. But yeah, this radio otherwise doesn't really have anything else to write home about. It does have FM, which is kind of cool. Doesn't have AM though, but what are you gonna do? This is a fantastic radio. I don't know if this is still being sold on the Barnes & Noble website. I was just shocked that it was like real, but if you can find an iLove, go ahead and grab it. You will not be disappointed. This is a fantastic radio. I absolutely love it. Next up, Motorola MWR839. This is a fantastic radio and also one of my holy grails.
Up to 10 miles miles per hour. Wednesday, partly sunny in the morning, then becoming mostly cloudy.
Purchased this new in box just last year. However, when I got it out of the box, the entire screen was just blank. The time wasn't showing, the channel didn't show, or whatever, but it like still turned on. If I hit weather, the broadcast would still play, but there was nothing on the screen. Now, a lot of you may know that this is literally just a white CL100. There's absolutely no difference between the Motorola MWR839 and the Sangean CL100, minus just the color and rarity. This is just a white version with rounder buttons that's much more rare than the CL100, which is still being sold like retailed online and stuff. So because this was having issues, I took the innards of my previous CL100, placed those right in here, and it's been working great ever since. So I'm very happy that you can, it's the same features as, you know, both radios are pretty much the same. So yeah, if you're gonna go ahead and grab this radio at all, I would highly suggest getting the CL100, mainly just because good luck on finding one of these. These are extremely rare and hardly ever come up, and when they do, they're usually overpriced because, you know, weather radio market. But these are fantastic radios. I love the speaker quality. The reception is amazing. Definitely get yourself a CL100, or if you can somehow get your hands on this, you get an MWR839. You don't pass up on this radio. This is a fantastic radio. So, and like I said, I purchased this last year. So, there you go. Next up over here, we have one of my 4-star rarity holy grails. White version 1 Midland WR100.
Temperature was 67, and in New York City it was mostly sunny and 70 degrees.
We all know the WR100, most iconic weather radio there's ever been. This is the first ever iteration of the WR100. Which has since become extremely rare and sought after. This is not a black and silver. I would love to get my hands on a black and silver, but, you know, it's very hard to do that. Main difference, as we all know, between the version 1s and 2s, and then the later iterations of the WR100, there's just no option to perform a siren test or change the backlight. And then speaking of the backlight, it is also extremely dim. Antenna is also very, very small, but I have an external antenna hooked up to this at the moment.
70s. Light and
Which kind of helps. And a lot of you also probably know the story of how I got this. There was originally an eBay listing that everybody thought was just one new in clamshell version 1. It was 5 of them. The seller literally had 5 new in clamshell version 1s, and myself and 4 other enthusiasts got their hands on them. You know who you are if you're watching this.
Wednesday night.
So this is a fantastic piece of weather radio history. I can't believe I get to actually own one of these. I owned a version 2 for a little bit, thanks to Weather Radio Guru, but deep down I did always want a version 1 or black and silver, and I finally have one of those. We'll see if one of these days I ever end up owning a black and silver, but I highly doubt it. So, that's that one. Next up we have my version 1 Midland WR300.
Chance of rain 50%. Friday and Friday night.
Fun fact, this is actually the first normal silver WR300 I've ever owned. I've only really ever had this thing, which we'll get to. Main difference between the version 1 300 and the later iterations of the WR300, really the only difference is just there's also no backlight functionality, but the rest of everything still remains. This is of course also a stationary radio, as we all know, has AM/FM, and it's a very, very cool little radio. This is one from 2003. I know there's a much rarer version of the version 1 WR300 that comes from 2004, but I do not own that. Otherwise, it's just your basic WR300, just with a statement light. So, that's that one. Purchased this on August 9th, 2025, the same day I filmed my previous weather radio collection video. So there you go. And next up, Midland WR301. I have owned a WR301 since Christmas morning 2015. I'm coming up on 11 years with this thing. Holy shit. It's inherently the exact same thing as the version 1 300s and the version 4s and 5s. Of course, the only difference between the version 5s and the version 1s is here's your backlight function. You can either have a normal or continuous. And the only other difference between the regular 300s that aren't version 8s is just, of course, the lovely, lovely, sought-after Mossy Oak shell on there.
Miles per hour.
My original 301 died in like 2020 something, and I bought a version 5 WR300 that is not a deluxe, but still apparently won't die. The serial is like 111 or something like that. Put that with my 301 shell, and now I have a working 301 again, so. I've loved owning this radio. It's been an absolute pleasure. I still don't know how I opened this up on fucking Christmas morning of all things, but, you know, I'm certainly not complaining. 11 years with this thing, and it's done me good since I have had to replace it only once, technically, so. There you go. This is still the original 301 shell, but the innards are not like the original, like, 300 build, is what I'm getting at. But it's a fantastic radio. Good luck finding a 301 anywhere. They don't come up very often, but if you can, do not hesitate. Next up, Midland WR400. This is a version 1.
Sunny 72. Nashville.
Love these things. The only difference, or the main difference I should say, between the first iteration of the WR400s and the later versions up until the DSP is that this radio actually takes a micro or mini USB. I can't actually remember which one. This takes USB actually rather than standard barrelhead jack, which later versions they started doing barrelhead adapters again. So this one's currently running on a third-party USB cord, and it's still working great.
And 72.
Also, you know, we kind of all know the WR400s. They've been around for a little bit. I purchased this. I think this is also a Christmas gift of mine, either 2017 or 2018, whatever year this radio like really released to the public. And mainly, as you all know, it looks like a 300, but the menu functionality minus the ability to do a dual alarm is identical to a WR120. So it's a very simple radio and a very good radio at that.
70 degrees.
This is version 1, of course. I like how it's USB. This just does not have the new event codes, unfortunately. I would like to get a WR400 that does have the new event codes, or even a WR400 DSP, but I could care less for the time being, so. But this is a must-have for collections. Love the WR400s. So, now up here, we'll start at the very top here. This is a radio I do not use as much as I should. Here we have my Radio Shack 12- Can the antenna please come out? There we go. Here we have my Radio Shack 12-254. Which I think is currently dead, unfortunately. Oh, maybe not. There we go.
Tonight, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 50s. Light and variable.
Absolutely love this radio. Got this as a Christmas gift from my lovely girlfriend in 2022, I believe. So special thanks to her. It's a neat little radio. It's basically a portable Radio Shack 12-249/250. This is, I think, Radio Shack's first ever SAME capable handheld. So, good on them for that.
South winds around 10 miles an hour with gusts up to...
It's actually a really good radio at that. I hear the reception is actually really fucking good on these things. So, I would definitely go ahead and get this guy. The only problem with mine is just that one minor cosmetic scratch there, but again, that's merely cosmetic. And holy cars going by, like, goddamn, dude. Okay, so there's just 4 going by all at once, goddamn, like, fuck me, I guess. And just like the 245 and 250, it operates with this little, keypad right here. So there you go. Don't use this as much as I should. What is with all the dogs barking out there, too? Y'all hear that? Like, damn. I get it, I'm filming a collection video. We're all excited, so am I, but holy shit. But yeah, 12-254s, definitely, if you can find them for cheap online, I'd go ahead and get them. They're a pretty good addition to have in a collection. Okay, next one up here, we have my Radio Shack 12-519. Now, actually, before I even just fully get into the broadcast that's even coherent, I need to replace this or just... I don't even know anymore, because if I turn on the broadcast, you'll see what I mean.
And at Bedford, sunny, temperature 72, wind west at 7. Water temperature.
The tuner is absolutely on its last fucking leg of survival. This radio still somehow activates, but I need to either fix the tuner or just get a new one. But I love the 12519. I purchased this at the end of 2023, I believe. Either the end of 2022 or 2023, I can't quite remember. It is a first header, and I prefer the first headers more than the third headers. Looks like a giant stereo, if you ask me. It looks intimidating to operate, but it really is not. It's actually quite simple. Let me go do a quick siren test here. I know there's a way to do a siren test on that, but I low-key on the highest key forget. This radio also has Skywarn scanning functionality, the first of its kind for any non-scanner dedicated weather radio. It's a fantastic radio if you can just find one with a working tuner. I really am sad that the tuner is going out on this because this is one of my favorites, but you know, it's whatever. It still activates, so, you know, at least at the moment, why fix what ain't broke? So, or why fix what ain't fully broken, I should say. So, there you go. Next up, this is actually all reliable, if you ask me. This is my Midland 74200.
72 degrees.
This thing has worked fantastic since I bought it. Purchased it for about $20 on eBay in March 2022, and you can still find them floating around for that kind of price. I believe this was Midland's first ever same weather radio. It was direct competition to the 12249, I think. This radio released in 1999, and it certainly looks that way, doesn't it? These buttons up here is just for setting up time and date and stuff like that, but just like all the kind of 1990 same radios, it all works with this little keypad up here. But this thing is a pretty cool siren too, and it's just been working actually great ever since I got it. Once you put in that same code for all correctly, it's gone to town from there. Absolutely love this thing. This is also a must-have for collections, if you ask me. So, there's that one. Next up, we have a radio that I don't use as much as I should. I believe this is also a 4-star as well, if I'm not mistaken. This is the WeatherX RWB8817DT. This is an absolutely fantastic radio. Mainly, the reception on this is absolutely underrated. On many occasions have I been able to hold it like this and perfectly get KZZ41. So it's an absolutely fantastic radio in that regard. It's also just kind of like unique looking. It looks way more different than any of your usual weather radios. But functionality-wise, it's pretty basic, which kills me. This radio released in like 2008 and 2009 and then disappeared off the face of the planet. There's quite literally only about 10 total enthusiasts, including myself, that I know of that have this radio. That's how rare it is. And it's really nothing to write home about, but the reception is underrated. If you could somehow find this radio, you need to go ahead and do so. Purchased this for about $30 off of eBay back in 2023. Ironically, it actually came from Massachusetts, so it was literally at my door the next day, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, it's really a interesting looking, fantastic, underrated, yet very, very rare radio. If you recognize the make of this radio online, and it's for sale, go ahead and grab it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It is quite loud, however, but the siren is also really cool. So, alright, next up we have another extremely rare radio, but one I'm also very disappointed with. This is not a weather radio, it is a dedicated HD AM/FM radio. This is the Spark SHD TX2. This one is sought after by most collectors, mainly because this is the undisputed, well, for the most part, I think, besides one other radio that has recently come out. But this was the OG undisputed king of FM radio DXing. The reception is godlike. I've honestly never really seen anything like it. The only problem that's holding this radio back from me, the battery life is abysmal. This radio will chew through brand new batteries after 2 hours of use. That is unacceptable. And on many occasions have I just had batteries sitting in here with the radio powered off, and it'll just die. The batteries will literally just fully die out. See? The batteries will just fully die out when the radio is like turned off, not even in use. It's not even in like any standby mode. It's just off and the batteries will die. While I'm at it now, I can just throw these away. So that's the one thing holding this radio back. I definitely see why it's so sought after amongst DXing people, but I don't know, the battery life is just such a massive, massive turnoff. It's really unfortunate that it had to come down to that, but it really is. I did purchase this though for quite cheap on eBay. Found it for a pretty good deal. And I purchased this also in 2025, I believe. So just last year. So I've only had it for about a year, but it's really just a disappointing radio. I'm not gonna lie. But the reception is just unlike anything I've ever seen, so I guess that's what makes it worth it. So that's where that sits. But now, if you're looking for a very good HD AM/FM radio that still has very, very good reception, and also the batteries last forever, and is actually available on the market, you get this guy. This is my Sangean HDR14. I purchased this back in 2024, and so far this has still been my go-to for AM/FM relays for EAS. It's a fantastic radio that has up to 20 memory slots for your presets, your station presets. And it also has HD alert. I do have a couple clips on my channel of this going off for HD alert, but yeah, it's basically the exact same thing as this one, except just more common and better. At the cost of slightly poorer reception, the battery life on this, I've only ever had to replace the batteries on these 3 times total, and I've had this for 2 years now. So just take that how you will. So that's a fantastic radio if you're looking for an AM/FM radio. So now we'll start with the main part of this bureau shelf. Right in the back here we have my Eton FRX5BT.
Nashville mostly sunny 71. Jaffrey partly.
This is not a sidekick, as you can see it quite literally says FRX5BT. This is a very, very nice radio from Eton. I got this at an incredible deal off eBay in 2024, right in, I believe in April or June, or no, May or June of 2024. This radio still retails, I believe, for like $70 to $80. I purchased this in near pristine condition for $20 on eBay. Couldn't pass it up, and it's been working great ever since. It's currently running off a USB power, which I love. And this radio is basically the exact same thing as the FR370, however it does have Bluetooth mode, so you can connect like your phone to this, and oh, and there goes my external antenna, because the wind just blew it down. Let me put that back up there real fast. There we go. And yeah, you can connect your phone to this via Bluetooth and play your music through it.
Mostly sunny 72.
It's got pretty good reception too. The one thing I just don't like is that for whatever reason, it's fucking rocket science to just make your alert scroll. If it's on alert mode, you have to hold down this button and then it just freezes. It doesn't scroll. It has to be completely off like this in order to just scroll the damn message. So that's the one thing holding this radio back. Otherwise, I do love also the backlight that comes with it. I know there's a version out there where the backlight is orange, but this one is a green. So there you go. This is a fantastic radio if you can get your hands on it. Right in front of it, I have no idea if this is considered 4-star rarity, but it wouldn't surprise me. This is one of my other holy grails. Here we have a working Radio Shack 12-253.
In the upper 70s. Light and variable winds, becoming west around 10 miles an hour this afternoon.
I purchased this radio in November 2024, and it shipped to me at college, which was very risky. I should not have done that, but it still worked out. Thank God. This is a fantastic radio. It's basically a glorified 12-249-250 because all the programming is done via this switch here. You have to switch it to program. And that's where you can change your channel, your SAN code, and all that. But the siren is fantastic. I love how it also says warning emergency watch statement. Siren sounds kind of like a recom, and the display is also awesome. This radio actually also does have AM/FM, if you can believe it, and wired into the radio, but kind of draping over my shelf here, is an atomic clock, which is pretty cool. So that was the gimmick of this radio at the time. Good luck finding one of these. I know people have been looking for these for a while, and so have I. And I'm still looking for a 12-255 to really complete my collection. But I've got a 253 that works. The tuners, speakers, and decoders to these things are all notorious for dying. This one has worked perfectly for these almost 2 years now, and I could not be happier.
Partly cloudy.
I take very good care of this thing. If you can find a 253, don't pass it up if you're a collector. This is a must-have for, at least in terms of rare radios. What used to be kind of a must-have, however, but is not so much anymore, and never really was, and really isn't now, is this. This is the First Alert SFA 1135. This is basically the handheld version of this. I purchased this in August 2024 off of Facebook Marketplace for about $15, so while I got it for a great deal, the radio itself is not really good at all. It's very chunky and just kind of flimsy feeling. The bell clip is also awful, the reception is awful, and it's also weird to operate because you use the volume buttons on the sides here. And I have pretty big hands, by the way, and like, yeah, this is a fucking chunka. I mean, it works for what it is. It's just a handheld SFA 1150. It does work for what it is. It's got a pretty cool siren to it. It's a little, it's the same as that, but it's a little, the pitch is a little different. This used to be quite a rare radio up until like this past April or May, where some seller on eBay had quite literally at least 20 of these brand new as old stock that he just kept selling and selling and selling for a pretty cheap price online. So everyone and their mother has this radio now, so now it's really just nothing special at all, but, you know, what are you going to do? I wouldn't recommend this radio, though, from the get-go. It's just really clunky to operate, hence there being no batteries in this. But next up, we have a slightly better handheld. Here we have my Radio Shack 12-522. And the tuner sounds like it's on its way out. I certainly hope not, though, but it has still been working fine since I got it.
Here are the 10 a.m. reports from around New England.
I want to get a version of the 25. I want to get a version of the 522 that doesn't die. I know the batches made in 2011 actually don't seem to die, the tuners, so would love to get my hands on that one of these days, but that's kind of wishful thinking. Purchased my first 522 back in 2024, however, the tuner was just dead, so I ended up finding another one here on eBay, also in 2024, that has been working great since I got it. So it's actually, this is probably, holy fucking cars going by, I'm actually gonna flip out. Like, seriously, it's only when I'm making video anymore. It's only when I'm making videos that the cars want to go by, but anyways, we're coming up on 2 years now of this thing still kicking with a kind of defaulty tuner batch, but I don't know. I do actually like the 522s, but just the constant tuner dying is what holds it back. It is a pretty cool radio, however, it's quite loud, outdated also. This radio released in 2008, and kept going until this guy came out. So, yeah. It is a cool radio, though. It's kind of rare nowadays. You're better off just getting a 259. They're slightly older than this, but they don't die. At least for the most part. I used to have a 259. But yeah. I do like the 522s, though. They're pretty cool. So yeah, got this in 2024, I believe I said. Next up, we have my Cobra CWR 200. Holy fucking cars going by. It's fine, I'll just overheat in my room. Like, this road is usually so fucking quiet, but it's only when I make videos that everyone and their mother comes through. Anyways, Cobra CWR 200.
Rest of today, partly sunny. Highs in the upper 70s. Light and variable.
Most people actually don't like this radio, but I am the weirdo that does. Because if you ask me, this is the coolest looking handheld by far. I don't know what it is, I just think this looks absolutely amazing. It is quite a weird radio, though. There's only a beep to this radio for a siren, but the weird thing is that even though there's a dedicated weather snooze button, you can't actually mute the broadcast and just put it in like a plain standby.
Light and variable.
Like, it just doesn't work. You have to keep the volume at low to, like, quote-unquote mute the broadcast and just put this radio on standby. It's really fucking weird, but whatever. And this tornado mode also is kind of useless. This just basically means, yeah, the siren will only sound for high priorities or not. So, whatever. It's still a really cool radio, though, for what it is. Got this in 2023, back in February, I believe, off a 1 in the morning eBay doom scroll. Came with the cradle and the cord, but did not come with the actual batteries, but I just leave it in the dedicated cradle it came with. So, there you go. Next up, we have, everybody knows and loves this one. If I can get it out of the cradle, please. Thank you. Midland HH54 VP2. This is just a regular version 16.
Monday, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s.
Fantastic radio. I mean, what else can I say? This is the handheld. When you think of a handheld, you either go for this or this. This is a fantastic handheld. I wish Midland still made these, but whatever. I guess we'll go fuck ourselves. Menu functionality is very basic and easy. It's also very durable, even though the antenna covers tend to snap off. HH54 was my first ever weather radio I ever no, not my first. The second ever weather radio I ever purchased with the cradle, mind you. This is still, I think, actually the original cradle from 2014. So yeah, take that how you will. Did purchase my first HH in 2014. This is not, however, my first HH. That I retired because it was just, there was so much wear and tear on it from over 10 years of use. So in 2023, I purchased one both from Antonio to give to a friend, and then I purchased this one new in box off of eBay. I've only owned version 16s. I haven't owned any of the rare high pitch versions or the version 15. This has been the only one I've owned. Oh, and your reception will be shit there, of course, right? So yeah, this is like the go-to handheld though. You want a handheld weather radio, you get this thing before anything else. This is a fantastic radio. Couldn't gloat about it enough. But next up though, we have a handheld that is definitively, I think, my favorite weather radio just in general. The extremely rare, extremely sought after for many good reasons, Radio Shack 12993.
It's 10:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is no...
The reception and durability of this radio is just unmatched. Radio Shack really stepped up the plate since the 522, as this is the direct predecessor to that. Or however, whatever means this came after that is what I meant. It's literally just a portable version of the 12991, just red in color. But this radio is so sought after. I've owned a 12993 since 2015. This is not, however, the original 993. My original 993, the screen, unfortunately subdued to having massive issues to the point it just became completely unreadable. I also had a lot of wear and tear on the back because I used to take this radio everywhere. But in May 2023, or April 2023, I found a open box 993 on eBay. And this has been working great ever since. I will forever cherish this radio so that nothing like that ever happens again. Because this is definitively my favorite radio, and every reason it's sought after is valid. So, that's that. Now next up we have another 4-star radio, I believe, one of my other many holy grails. First Alert, SFA 1150.
Bedford sunny and 72. Elsewhere.
This was for a long time my personal quote-unquote dream radio. Now that alert ring is the main gimmick behind it, otherwise it's kind of a basic radio. This thing basically disappeared off the face of the planet after it got taken off of Amazon. And there's literally been only like 4 listings total since then. I purchased this on Facebook Marketplace. The seller was very nice to send it out to me. They were originally hesitant, but I did a little magic and convinced them. It might have been through sheer violence, who's to say? That's a joke. But this is a fantastic, very, 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 very rare radio. Good luck finding this thing. That's really all I can say. Got this in December 2024, so also coming up on 2 years with this thing. And I have loved it for every single one of those times. The menu can be a little finicky. These buttons up here, they can be just a little finicky. And also the one thing I don't like is that if this radio is on voice mode, where the broadcast kicks in during an alert, it goes to the highest volume. I fucking can't stand that. That's literally, if that did not exist, this would be the perfect weather radio. That's the one fucking drawback. But it's still a fantastic radio with great speaker quality. If you can somehow get your hands on this thing, do it. You won't be disappointed. Next up, Recom R500.
Partly sunny. A chance of showers.
Purchased this in January 2024 because of the multi-channel monitoring feature.
South.
I think my external antenna also is on the ground for that because it fell, but this is basically just like any of the other modernized Recoms. It just has a lot more features and is very, very small. This does have AM, FM, but in addition to the multi-channel monitoring feature, you can also set your button beep, or key tone I guess it's called, and a key lock, which is kind of useless, but fucking whatever. And you can also set not only the siren volume, but the volume at which the broadcast turns on when this radio gets an alert. sounds the same as the modernized Recoms. This is a fantastic compact little radio. It's a wallet killer on Amazon, but it's worth it. Well worth it. This also has everything. So yeah, love this thing to death. And you can also get a very clear alert history for when this radio has activated and on what channel. So here's a flash flood warning from channel 4 on August 3rd. Here's a severe thunderstorm warning on channel 3, also from August 3rd, I bet. Yep. Great radio. Absolutely love it. Now for the radios back here. Here we have one of my Midland 74 250s. This is defective though. The speaker doesn't work unless I make contact with the back side, but I still have it for whatever reason. I believe I originally purchased a 74 250 back in like 2019 or 2020, so I've had that for a while. Then we got this Acura 8550, which I purchased in 2024. The deal was so good, it was literally $5 on eBay. It didn't come with the charging dock or anything like that. Literally $5 on eBay. I still don't recommend this radio. It's very lightweight and cheap feeling, and the menu functionality is also abysmal. Stay clear from that radio. But this I still would recommend if you're a scanner collector per se. Here we have my Radio Shack Pro 97. Absolutely love this thing actually. It is an analog scanner, it's quite old, but I still use it mainly for weather. I don't use it for scanning as much anymore because I have these, which we will get to in just a moment. And they also have this also has very cool sirens for weather alerts. So yeah, neat little analog scanner, although it's just kind of outdated, especially just with police departments and fire departments all switching to digital services. This is kind of outdated now, but it's still a very cool kind of vintage radio to have, especially if you're using it just strictly for weather. So yeah, purchased this in 2023, I believe. So, I'll move on down here. This is the last of the main attractions. I'll actually start down here because I'm a teaser like that. Here we have my Eton FR370. Yeah, SolarLink FR370. Doesn't have any juice in it right now, but that's okay. It's basically a less, kind of cheaper version of the FR600 over there. I've owned a 370 since 2016, and this is only my second one because I overvolted that one and also almost set it on fire, but that's besides the point. Anyways, fantastic radio. It's got, like, you know, your solar crank, all your stuff right here. This is all your methods of power. It's a very neat little radio. I've always loved this little volume dial here. But yeah, this is basically what you compare to the Zone Guard. So this is more like kind of just a more portable Zone Guard. So fantastic radio if you can get your hands on it. Now up here we have what are definitively by far the two most expensive radios in my entire collection. First one we have over here is the Home Patrol, the Uniden Home Patrol 2. I'll turn around real fast there. My lovely little intro there. Home Patrol 2 is a completely touchscreen P25 Phase 2 digital capable scanner. But the main gimmick behind it, at least with the weather stuff, is that this radio... Okay. Don't know why it has... Why does it have shit signal? Whatever. But the main gimmick behind it is that right here, you can replay weather alerts off this thing. So if this thing receives an alert, the entire message stays on right here until it expires. And within that time, if you need to replay, you can tap it and it replays the entire message. So it's very handy if I've missed an alert while I'm out and I come back and it's still in effect on the radios. I can just replay it. There's another count to my EAS. My EAS count, excuse me. But otherwise, I am getting into more like actual scanning now. This thing can pretty much scan almost everything that isn't encrypted. Like I said, P25 Phase 2 digital oriented. So, yeah. This is also a, not the stock antenna. This is just another actual antenna I have with better reception. Got this for $420 on eBay, which was, I think, a steal because this still retails at like $690 or something like that. Fantastic radio. If you want mainly just the weather alert replay function, but aren't interested in the scanning, settle for the first iteration of the Home Patrol, just like the regular Home Patrol 1. They're cheaper, and it'll still be well worth your while. Absolutely love this thing. I purchased this right before the big January 2026 blizzard of New England. I think we all remember that. So, that's that one. This next one I just got 2 weeks ago. And I got this for $388 off of Mercari, which I think was an absolute steal. And it was more bang for my buck because it came with a third-party zip scanner dock here. Here we have the Uniden SDS100. You all should have seen this in my most recent compilation when I was up in Old Orchard for the week. I just also purchased this antenna here. This is a SMA to BNC adapter, and then here is a very long antenna for this radio. So the reception is fantastic. It does take a while to load up the scanning databases, but it's whatever. Similar to the Home Patrol 2, but capable of picking up more frequencies. This is basically capable of picking up anything and everything that is not encrypted on the VHF and UHF bands, or megahertz bands, I guess you could say, you can call it. Including like FM and shortwave, well, not shortwave, including FM and other shit like that, Skywarn also. It's a fantastic scanner. So, like I said, pretty much anything and everything that is not encrypted, but it does also have your weather functionality.
Messages across. West winds up to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-50s.
I'm sure, as you've also noticed, you can change the colors of the stuff here. So I have everything custom colors. The one thing that I also very much so like that I know will be helpful if I take this radio somewhere for EAS, if I receive a weather alert but then I need to tune to an FM station, guess what I can do? I hold that, I just type in whatever frequency I want to go to, so let's say WGIR's relaying, go to 101.1, there you go.
A lot of you are already going to know what I'm talking about, but if not, I mean, if the NFL can help.
So I can tell you that's going to come in useful if I use this radio. I do plan on taking this a lot with me just because I am getting more into like police scanning and stuff like that. And with this, like I said, I can scan pretty much anything and everything that's not encrypted. So, absolutely have loved this radio so far. I'll be needing to buy a new battery clip and the antenna, but whatever. Still got this for quite a good deal. So give or take with the actual purchase itself and the repairs I've needed to do to this, I've spent really just about under $400 for this thing, which is still a steal because good luck finding a used one for under $500 on eBay. So this was a steal on Mercari if you ask me. So absolutely love this thing. Like I said, just got it 2 weeks ago. Can't wait to see what happens with this thing. Next up, Radio Shack 12-996.
M66. Lawrence.
I have owned this particular 996 since April 2016. Over 10 years now. Holy shit. Fantastic radio. Another one of my top fives. One of my favorites. It's completely touchscreen, and it actually works for a radio like this because Radio Shack just was amazing during their last leg of their company time on retail, but you know what I mean. The reception and speaker quality is also phenomenal. There's quite also...
Albany, New York, it was...
There's just nothing like a 12996. If you can get your hands on this, go ahead and do it. You will not be disappointed. Love this thing. Next up we have another Holy Grail. First Alert WX268.
A slow-moving upper trough will bring unsettled weather until Wednesday.
Absolutely love this thing. When I first got this, the decoder was dead. It did not decode. But I sent this off to BenjiCat33, some of you may know him as MontyCat33, some of you may know him as Mitchell, who very graciously agreed to fix this up for me because he knew of a fix for that, and it's been working great ever since.
Manchester.
So special thanks to Mitchell. If you're watching this video, I hope you are doing well in life, brother. We all miss you. Hope everything's treating you well. Main gimmick with the WX268s, this thing and why they're so sought after and rare. These are capable of activating for alerts on the AM/FM bands. So that is literally the only reason why this radio is so sought after. However, this thing is also very fragile. So I've done my best to take the best care I can of this, especially because the bottom half here is yellowed, whereas the top is not. So I've done my best to take as good care of this as I possibly can. And I feel like I've done good, because since I got it in 2024, it's been working great ever since. So yeah. Fantastic radio. Like I said, just be very careful getting this, but if you find a 268, don't hesitate, because this is one of few radios that can activate for alerts on the AM/FM band. I believe the only other radios that can do that is the Uniden BC370, the ASI Alert Sentinel, I'm pretty sure there's one other one I'm missing, but I don't know. But yeah, fantastic radio. One of my 4 stars. Love this thing. I believe this is 4-star. Couldn't tell you. I'm gonna get up and reorient myself here. Right next to that, we have my Radio Shack 12258.
70s. Saturday night and Sunday.
Fantastic little radio. Got this in 2023 also. I did not get it new in box. I believe new in box 258s come with a exclusive CD software of sorts that basically just acts like a relay network or whatever, or just shows you on your PC if alerts have come in. But of course I don't have that. But I also don't care about that at all. This is a statement error radio. It's quite easy to function and operate. It's a fantastic little radio. Absolutely love these. They still come around a little bit here and there on eBay. If you can find one, get it, because they're usually not all that expensive when they do come up. Fantastic radio. Love the 258s. Next up we have my MG kit, version 2, MD319.
1 foot. Sunny.
So this is one of the companies that took over the production of the MD319s after Running Snail just said, nope, it's a fucking train wreck, here you go. An MG kit did really good with this thing. All the issues are gone, and it basically just acts like a very nice, normal, same capable radio. Comes with the strobe light that you see on like some of the Midland radios with it's an accessory, but this actually comes with those red strobe lights. It also comes with a little wired external antenna, the ones that you see on like the iLoves and shit like that. And it's honestly actually a really cool radio. I got this just this past January for when I went back for my spring semester for school, for sophomore year. And it's been working great ever since. I absolutely love this thing, actually.
There's no weather radio.
You know, nothing to write home about, but it's a very interesting looking radio, and for whatever reason, also, the button beeps sound like old Uniden scanners. Let me find it. It sounds like I'm operating an old Uniden scanner with those button beeps, but of course I'm not, so whatever. But yeah, there you go. Nothing really to write home about. But this one is something to write home about. Here we have my Uniden WX100.
Miles an hour, and the pressure was...
Yes, I overpaid more than I should have on eBay for this, but I had gift cards, and I'm terrible at rationalizing, blah, blah, blah. The WX100s have fallen victim to scalping online, as we all know. This is a cool radio, but I kind of think it's overrated a little bit. It's not really all that it's panned out to be. Yes, the volume dial's nice. Yes, everybody does it for the sirens. We all know the sirens. Very loud. And everybody throbs for the warning siren. Besides that, though, this radio is really just...
Mostly sun.
It's not all it's made out to be, so... It's up to you if you choose to get the money to get this, but I wouldn't go in expecting much. So, yeah. That's basically going to conclude all the in-service radios, though. I do have 2 bins there of out-of-service radios. Oh, right here, actually. I never put this in the closet. Here we have a radio that just came out, this year, in March, I think, which I purchased right as it got out. This is the Dream Sky... I have the model number on the box here. This is the Dream Sky... the Dream Sky DS6227W. It's literally a knockoff WR120. It looks like a WR100 if it was AI generated, and the menu functionality is literally the exact same as the WR120. And the siren is also just slightly more annoying. Stay away from this radio. Stay away. Only got it just to see if it was like good. Stay away from the radio. But the radios that I don't feel like getting the bins out there because they're like way fucking buried back there. If I had any more motivation, maybe I would. But I have the radios that work that are out of service. I have a Recom R1630, R1650, WR100 version 2, Uniden BCT15X, 2 WR120s, a Lacrosse S85, forget the model number, some Lacrosse radio that does have same, and then a working but still shitty Eton FRX1 in there, and then I also have a broken HH50, or no, I have a working HH50 in there, and a working WR10, a working AlertWorks EAR10, a working Max Digital CR01NW. I can't think of... I don't believe I have anything else in there. That might be it. But you've seen those radios before on my channel previously, but as of right now, those are just kind of the ones that are like too common for me to keep out. Yes, I do have a handful of common radios I have out, but I want to keep mostly the rare ones out and going in service, with a couple of exceptions, mainly just because of how good they can be. But that's really going to do it, folks. That has been my updated weather radio collection video as of August 25th, 2026. Overdue just a little bit by a year. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll see you all for the weekly test on Wednesday. That'll be my last weekly of the summer, because literally in 3 days on Thursday is when I return to college. Not looking forward to it, but I have a lot more reasons to be positive going back this time around, so.
Afternoon.
It'll be for my junior year. Gonna miss being around all my radios 24/7, but whatever. That college is kind of priority, so. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun bullshit, or not. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do, in the wise words of Bruce do. I hope you just all have a fantastic day. Take care, everybody.